boats and hoes. I gotta have me my boats and hoes.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Bolts and Hose podcast number
28.
That
is
sounds
what?
nice. 28.
28. That's right. You say it now, Chris. I want to hear you say the Spanish.
28.
There you go.
That was very
Chris was
the
getting schooled.
enunciation and the it was perfect.
Chris was getting schooled by some people at the Vegas show on his Spanish skills.
I think they felt bad for us, so they were giving us a few pointers.
Yeah, you need more Latin flavor.
Our audience might notice that the setting is a little bit different from what it normally is. We are not at the brewery.
It is different. This is the first time I haven't been there. Did you know that?
That's true. We're doing it remote. We're getting pretty technical in this whole thing. So, we're able to do this remotely and be able to record it and then splice it together later. So I think this will work okay. But I guess the more I am actually in the office. So if we looked through the window out of my office, you would be able to see Ingenious Brewing. And in the spirit of the podcast, I do have
what is that?
An Ingenious can that I had in my fridge in my office. This is called Softest Cashmere. I think they discontinued this one a few weeks ago, but I still have one left over.
And what is that, a koala bear?
Well, I don't know. It's some, I guess in the spirit of Halloween, it's some evil-looking bear or maybe marsupial. I don't know exactly.
A gremlin? Don't pour
but if you
water
see,
on it?
It is. I don't know if it shows backwards there or not, but 8.2%.
Oh, look out.
One pint. So I've just started this thing. So
well done, Chris. Well done. Yeah. I'm proud of you, man. You started drinking with the big boys.
It's good and cold. So on the Friday, and after this week, it's definitely well deserved.
You need every bit of it, sir.
So I'm here in the office. Probably the bigger question, Bryce, where in the world are you?
I'm going to leave that to the viewers. If you can guess where I'm at,
you win
a Patriot Bolt hat.
I think you have to tell the story.
I'm currently in the Garden District in New Orleans. I'm drinking a cane break, of course. I'm, sitting over here in New Orleans, so I got to drink a NOLA beer. A good friend of mine lives over here. Threw a last-minute invite to the Jags-Saints game last night, so I couldn't
How'd
pass
they do?
it up.
I think the Saints lost, right?
I will tell you, man, the Saints look like a high school football team. They are awful. But they hung in there.
Highlights, and the Jaguars look professional, man. There was all kinds of stuff. Cool plays. They had some neat routes.
They did. But it was a close game, though. New Orleans had a chance to win at the end, and they just, again, blew it. I think coaching for the Saints, the play calling, and it was embarrassing.
Who's coaching them now?
What's that?
Who's coaching the Saints now?
I don't even know him. I don't know. I don't follow it that close.
It's Derek Carr is a quarterback, right?
Derek Carr is the quarterback.
Yeah. But he used to be in Houston. We used to have him.
No, that was his brother, David Carr. Derek Carr used to be. He was with the Raiders.
Okay.
So that's his younger brother now. And he's not very good. The Saints got this kid, number 7, Jason Tatum, I think his name is. But he's a stud. They should have given him the ball a lot more. But the Saints fans are wild. The place is raucous. It was going crazy. It's always fun.
Yeah.
So and then we went to the casino, and how it goes. So I didn't get enough. I didn't get enough in Vegas, so I had to.
You're just now waking up.
No, I was up at 7:30. Man, we were busy this morning. My phone was ringing at 7:30 this morning. So
we've had a busy week. This has probably been one of our best weeks in the history of Patriot Bowl. I know we say that a lot. Man, it's been crazy. Turnaround activity is up. Market activity is way up. I think everybody's up just based on the feedback and the conversations we were having at Heat Exchanger World this week. It seems like everybody is busy. We are no exception to that. We got a lot of
cool pulse right now. You're busy.
Yeah. So
but Heat Exchanger World was really good. We had that was Tuesday and Wednesday at the Pasadena Convention Center. It's such a small, just focused show, and I don't know. I think it was a good.
Focused in the right area.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, where they have like General Mill supplies and you got all this variety. I mean, this is nothing but the major heat exchanger players, primarily in the Gulf Coast, but they're all global companies, right? They're all major heat exchanger companies supplying manufactured heat exchangers and services all over the world.
And the cool thing I love about it is, obviously heat exchanger manufacturers in the Gulf Coast, they're manufacturing American-made cool equipment. And there wasn't a whole lot of, import. There wasn't a whole lot of Asian, representation there. So it's just a lot of cool American companies that are focused on providing quality products. And, it's a good vibe there.
Yeah.
And good
I
people
think we were one of the only bolt manufacturers there, I think, right?
You're right. Yeah, we're the only one. I mean, there's, High Torch there, but I don't really consider them a bolt company.
Or bolting. I mean, bolting company.
But involved, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's a very good show for us, and we'll definitely continue to attend it. And got a lot of good customers out there, a lot of new potential customers, and so.
Yeah, after the first day, there was a cook-off. So there was maybe 6, 7, 8 teams that participated in that, and Patriot Bolt was one of them. We had our colleague Paul Salinas come and help us make a special dish, which was really cool. It was a Texas brisket chili pie, which was kind of like a Frito pie, but instead of your normal recipe, we added big chunks of brisket to it, and it was amazing. It was probably one of the best things I've ever eaten. It was amazing.
It was really good. A lot of good feedback, man. People are coming back for thirds and fourths.
Yeah, we had some Brazilian counterparts that will remain unnamed that were right next to us that had some wonderful picanha and pork belly that the crowd was wild for. So they edged us out, unfortunately, but we'll come back next year stronger.
It's cheating, I think. If you put pork belly on anything, they win.
We pulled out all the stops. We had a solo stove there and a campfire going, and we brought stuff for s'mores. So we even added the dessert at the end. I mean, I really think we did a good job. We definitely deserved a close second place, if not an arguable first place. So
right.
It's fine. We'll come back stronger next year. We'll be ready for them.
And we'll have to have bacon. We'll have bacon wrapped Frito pies next year.
Yeah, you got to win with bacon. That may have been our downfall. We didn't have enough bacon.
Yeah, we'll have bacon wrapped s'mores next year.
Yeah, but it was a good show. I think they're moving it to NRG next year, so they won't be in the Pasadena Convention Center. They'll be in NRG, which potentially could be a larger show and maybe attract more vendors. But it is focused, but it's more of an intimate show, and I think it's very targeted. I think it's very beneficial for us. Like you say, lots of our customers and lots of interaction with people that we want to do business with, for sure.
It's crazy. We're sitting at a heat exchanger show in Pasadena, and a cat comes over and starts talking. He's the MC of the show. What was his name? Chad?
Yeah.
So he was one of the originators of a podcast called What's on Tap.
Yeah.
And he had a lot of just cool pointers, and he came over and talked to us for a long time, and he heard we did a podcast. So we just started kind of talking podcasts with him. And he's been in the game. He actually made some decent coin doing it. COVID messed it up. He goes around to different breweries, just talking beer and different breweries and what's going on in the beer market. So kind of like what we do, but obviously in a much bigger market of beer.
Yeah.
But a really good dude, and we'll probably have him on at some point in the near future and share some podcast love with him.
Yeah, I didn't want to mess up his name, so I was looking for it real quick. Hillbean is his name. Chad Hillbean.
Chad Hillbean. Yeah. He's a good dude, man. A lot of energy. He's a great MC, and then I would love to have him on the podcast because he just has a good energy to him.
Yeah, I think we will. I think it'd be good, and I think there's a lot we can learn from him. He's a veteran, and he's certainly got it down. So we'll get better at this over time. But,
I think really
a good idea too, generally we come on here and we talk shop and we talk a little bit of technical and, we'll talk about current events and things, but he was really focused on just going and finding an article or going and finding content on the internet and then just bringing it up and talking about it. And generally,
so what did you find this week? I know you did. What did you find?
I did scour the internet looking for, a current event. And it just so happens, just doing that little exercise, I had uncovered something that I really wasn't following or didn't really know was happening this week. But, I think us in the bolting world, we are very in tune with something that impacts our industry, which is the tariff that the Trump administration had put on China back in 2018. And there was a lot to this. There's a lot of accusations about anti-dumping and, there's a lot of subsidies that China puts on their steel. And the accusation is that it creates an unfair marketplace for the rest of the world. So warranted or not, or where you stand on that, I'm sure there's some legitimacy to that. But there's been a lot of debate over that over the last 4 or 5 years since 2018. But, I guess the Trump administration didn't like the way the EU handled that, and they were trying to influence them to place the same types of tariffs on China, which they never did. So in return, the U.S. placed some tariffs on the import of steel from the EU, which is a big deal, right? So that I think there's about $10 billion worth of steel imports that impacts. So it's really impacted the EU economy as well and the trade between the U.S. and the EU. So it just so happens that this week, some of the trade talks were going down to try to come to a conclusion, because when the Biden administration came in, they, I guess, relieved those tariffs only temporarily, though. Because in early 2024, those reliefs are set to expire, so those tariffs will go back into place. So this week, they were having discussions in Washington to put a more permanent solution in place so that those things don't go back in place. So it's a little bit of a stalemate because the U.S. still wants the EU to place those restrictions on China and try to prevent that anti-dumping from occurring. But the EU is reluctant to do that. So I don't know if a decision or an agreement will be made, but I guess as it winds down to the deadline, because they tried to create a gentleman's deadline of somewhere around the end of October, which is right now, and there's still not any agreement on this. So it's an interesting one to follow, but like I said, I didn't know a lot of that was going on, and it seemed like it was coming down to the wire. And I think those talks were scheduled to happen yesterday or at the last day today, but they agreed to extend them. So there's only a few months left before they are mandatory to go back reinstated. So
it's it's an interesting thing. I don't think it affects us a whole lot, though, right? I mean, we're going to continue making parts and using domestic material and let everyone else deal with all the BS that's going overseas.
Yeah, I'm sure some of the suppliers that we use, are Western European origin, and I'm sure some of the steel comes in. But it's I guess it's more of a play, I think, for the commodity manufacturers that are doing that in high volume, right? Because if you look at what we do at Patriot Bolt, the material cost is not the largest portion of our recipe. Much more of it is service oriented and the labor associated with it. It's less about the material cost. Sure, it's an impact, but I don't think it's the biggest driving factor of our business. Obviously, the end user pays for that one way or the other, and it'll impact the final price to a certain degree. But less of the case in our, they're probably buying much more volume from somebody else, so it's a much bigger part of the equation. But you're right. I agree with you. It doesn't really have a huge impact on our business.
Yep. It's just funny. You think about stuff like that.
Those commodity parts go along with our business quite a bit. and it does impact our customers. Yeah,
you just think about all the turnarounds going on right now and everything that we're doing in our shop. It's just, it's so much. We pull in domestic material, it runs through our shop, and it ships out, and we don't even have time to think about import.
Yeah.
So it will affect our business indirectly, I think, maybe a little bit, but from what we do, man.
Yeah, I'm thankful we're in that position because import's massive headache, man. You think about buying from somebody that's so far away, and you're buying a very critical component. If there's a problem with it, it's a big issue. There's upfront payments, and you have cash tied up in something that you're unsure of, and there's all the logistic problems that happen between there and here, and there's lots of people changing hands, going through customs, getting held in customs when there's paperwork. It's not a fun thing.
And then you get a crack in your bolt, and then what do? You just throw it away.
Yeah. Yeah.
So exactly. It's good to be here in the States doing what we're doing, baby.
Yeah. But, it's interesting to follow anyway. It does impact our industry.
No.
Impact, steel, we're talking about bolts, but steel impacts valves and heat exchanger plate and flanges and all of the other things that go along with bolted connections and flow control and piping, all of that stuff.
Just think about Inconel. You're talking Inconel. You got Special Metals. You got all these domestic mills that are striking and, throwing all these increases on, nickel surcharges. And so that affects it. If you can't go to the UK and get it, where are you going to go?
Yeah.
So,
yeah, for sure.
It's definitely something to keep an eye on and keep your nose to it.
So watch the news over the next few days. It'll be interesting to see the news, even what comes out today. But I anticipate it'll probably be a larger discussion next week, because as we get closer to that deadline, it'll become more and more of a topic of conversation. So interesting to look at. You can Google, China tariffs or EU-US steel tariff talks. And you can find a lot of information on that. There's a lot of articles on there right now. So, interesting subject.
Yes, sir. Always is. Hey, so we going to do any parts of the week this week, or what do you got? You got anything over there?
You're not here. I had to scour the shop and pick up a couple of parts. A lot of this stuff is scheduled to ship today, so I grabbed it and had to tell the guys, hey, I've got one of these. Don't make another one, please. So I grabbed a few things. One of these I'll start. Well, you want to go big or small, Bryce? You make the decision this week.
I have a mantra in my life. You always go big. Go big or go home.
Okay. I'm gonna pick this up, and I'm gonna let you guess what it is, because you probably already know.
You're gonna pull a muscle
because you're involved in it. Okay. Okay.
That's it.
Here we go. Look at that.
Cylindrical.
You know what these are, right, man?
It's a cylindrical nut.
Yes.
Grade 7.
Yes, sir.
Tommy holes in it.
Yes, sir.
I'm willing to bet you. I'm going to just look at it based on the size of your head. That's going to be a 3.5/8.
So you're obviously very, very familiar with this order.
Hold it next to your head, closer to your head. Yeah, it's absolutely 3.5/8. Yeah, that's a good.
What's cool about this part, you'll see the original metal skin on the top and the bottom. But what we did is we took 3.5 nuts, like Bryce said, and we turned them down. So we turned the corners off to turn it into a cylindrical nut. And once we turned that down and made the edges round, we drilled the tummy holes in the nut, and we made a cylindrical nut. So rather than taking solid round bar and doing all the drilling, threading, turning, sawing, it was much easier and much quicker just to take an existing nut, and we were still able to meet the dimensions of part, the ID and the OD and the wall thickness and all of the original spec dimensions. So it was a quick way for us to make parts, not from scratch, but taking an existing part and modifying it.
And, depending on the size, we can do it either way. We can take round bar and drill and tap. And this situation allowed us to take a hex nut and round off the corners and work it into a cylindrical nut. So this is a cool part. We turned this around. What did we get this order? Tuesday, Wednesday.
Yeah, and it's due early next week. So we've got a bunch of these to do, and
a lot of work, boy.
For the weekend. Yeah, got the big order. Yeah.
So that was the big parts you had?
That's a cool part. Yeah, I mean, I'm in my office. I can't wheel anything.
I thought you were going to get like a 5-inch by 85-inch stud out there.
We have some cool stuff running out there. I could have grabbed a heat exchanger part with, some large diameter long links with dog points on the end. We were running those out there. We're even making some Monel RTJ rings out there right
for today. R48s and R49s, man. Those are going to ship today.
Yeah, Monel. So really specialized gaskets that we're running out in the CNC shop right now as well.
Ovals,
yes.
Yeah. Those are fun, man.
Yeah. Did I say octagonal?
I don't know. I remember that.
Yeah, RTJ gaskets. Yeah, they're oval, as far as the shape goes. All right, so here's the next one right here, Bryce.
It's a little guy.
It's
a 12-point nut?
12-point nut slotted so that it's going to be a lock nut. So the material is 718 A5663.
So we talk about 718 all the time, man.
Yeah, age hardened.
I'm a little bored of material. Very hard. We're talking 150 min yield, 180 min tensile. Very hard. I mean, you never know what you're going to get to because it's a 150 min yield, but it could come in at 169, and it's a difficult material to run, especially with all that milling you do on that part.
Yeah, very difficult to run. There's a lot of geometries there. You're starting from solid round bar, chopping these up. You're milling all of the geometry in the face. You're milling the slots. You're tapping it, threading it, everything. So there's a lot of work, a lot of processes in these parts. I think I saw the order was for 24 pieces or so.
I would love to be your tooling supplier, Kris.
So we've got a lot of them out there. Yes, you would. You would. We spend a lot of money on carbide inserts and coated inserts that will cut and withstand this metal. So we're changing them out very frequently. And you think about the turning inserts, the mills, the taps, everything that went into this. This part required a ton of tooling and setups to make. But, it's a great example of the specialty parts that we can do.
That's right.
Yeah. Great part. Yeah. So along with this part is also, this is the last part I got right here, Bryce. Okay. So this is
long and skinny.
Yes. And I pulled this out of the box. We were about ready to ship it, so I had to grab one. This is the same material, 718 5663, so hardened material. But this is double in stud, yep. And it's got fine threads on the end. So there were a couple of sizes. This is the smaller one. We were doing a larger one out there. We were finishing up the threads. But as well, you can see it's a fine thread part and double end. Very hard material again, very difficult to machine. But again, a double end part. Very nice, all machined. And
hold that next to your arm. Hold that next to your arm.
Next to my arm, like this?
Your arm,
like
yeah.
This?
So that's probably, I would guess, about 16 inches long?
Okay, I'm going to go with you on that. Yeah, that sounds about right. I can, we're never at the brewery, but at my desk, I happen to have.
You got all sorts of silly tools. What is it? I can't see. It's too blurry.
It's a little less than 15, so it looks about 14 and 3/4.
That was close.
14 and 3/4. Yeah, close enough.
Yeah, so, I mean, a lot of just crazy parts out there.
Yeah, all the time it's crazy parts, but we love it.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a busy weekend. If you need anything this weekend, please call us because we're going to be rocking and rolling, and we'll fit you on in.
I think we've got most of the machines tied up this weekend, but we always have room.
No way. We're always room. We never say no. Well, I don't want to say never, but hardly ever say no.
True.
Hey, so one thing I want to talk about, Kris, is you're wearing the shirt.
I meant to talk about that.
Exactly.
So we're 2-2 in the series, right? We're in a 7-game series.
Big night last night, man.
Yeah. We're going to win tonight, and then it comes back to Houston on Sunday, right?
Yep, you got JV going. There's you're saying there's a chance.
I think we're going to finish it out. I really do. I'm confident.
You know, the momentum is swing to the Astros side. So I will, watching the National League, the Phillies were hot, but they looked like garbage last night. So I think the Astros, man, they got to be the favorite at this point. Your boy Mattress Max about to win $70 million. 70.
You think?
7-0. Yeah, if the Astros
He's going to win that furniture gamble, though, because if they go all the way, he's got to give all that furniture money back, right?
Yeah, I mean, who cares? That probably cost him, what, 10, maybe?
Maybe.
He got 70 mil.
I always wondered how that gamble works, but yeah, that makes sense because he's placed a bet to offset that.
Yeah,
and he'll lose a little bit. But how many people are out there taking that gamble on furniture?
Nobody. Yeah. Not a lot of people, at least. I mean, I'm sure people do
a lot more furniture, and it probably ends up in his favor more times than not.
Without a doubt. That dude don't lose money, man. He's a smart businessman. Hey, so speaking of that, too, we're probably going to be talking to Mattress Max soon about a big surprise that's in the works right now.
That's true, yeah. Did you see that I sent you earlier?
I did. I'm excited.
We got some big news coming, guys. So this is
big news.
This is going to be a big one. So we're excited about it. We're not going to let the cat out of the bag just yet.
We're going to peek its little paw out a little bit, but yeah.
We're close. We're talking about world record
4 weeks away? 4 weeks away.
Maybe that. Yeah, I think that's probably about right.
Exciting times. Hey, yes, so sir. One thing I want to ask you, man, we've been on here for 26 minutes now. I've drank a pint of the cane break. You haven't drank anything.
Man, I've been talking the whole time, brother. This is Office Cashmere. I think I'm probably down a half a beer. This is a pint, man.
This is a pint as well. This is a pint. It's a pint.
That's all draft, though, man. Half of that's water.
What's the difference? Get out of here.
That's draft. This is pure.
Get out of here.
This is pure IPA goodness,
pure
right?
Aluminum. Yeah, get to drinking. Get to drinking.
Don't dare me.
Actually, you probably shouldn't. We got orders to ship today.
Okay, so you're coming back when, man?
My flight leaves in about an hour.
Okay.
I better get in a cab and get to the airport.
You should probably get over there, my man. So we'll cut this off. And I would say have a good weekend, but I feel pretty strongly we're going to be talking.
It's a Halloween weekend, man. So we're going to be dressed up, answering call-outs in our costumes. So
you're having well, no, it's the weekend before Halloween, right?
Yeah, but there's so many parties next weekend. This is the carryover. So there is Halloween parties this weekend. I'm going to be dressed up tonight, actually. We got a party tonight. We got a party tomorrow.
What are you going to go as? Tell us what you're going to go as, right?
So my daughter and my wife wanted to dress up as aliens, and they want me to be the old redneck that they found in the middle of the field. And they got me a big fake butt off of Amazon, and I'm going to have a probe sticking out of my rear end.
You're going to have a probe. Okay.
So just another Friday night for me,
That's exactly what I was about to say, actually.
I know you were. I beat you to it. I beat you to it. Yeah, it'll be fun.
All right, man. Let's wrap this up. You can get to the airport.
All right. Cheers, my man. Great week.
Be safe, pal. Have a wonderful night.
And, hey, what do we do? Like, follow,
please
comment,
like, share, and follow. This was Bolton Hose number 28. 28. Ocho. And we will see
you
next week. Yes, I'm Bolton, your host.
Amen.
See you guys. Have a good one. Bye.
Boats and hoes. I gotta have me my boats and hoes.